Well, hello you bearded bastards, and welcome back once again to Milpagust, Waddlesquash. Currently it's the 17th of Fellsight, 4:15 late spring of our 13th year here, and the pumpkins are feeling just dandy this fine spring morning. Now, we've of course had some huge developments lately, and I believe Waddlesquash is going to experience a bit of a boom sometime coming up. That's right, our slab seeker, Wallace, has just returned home with the embraces of joy. Mengfor's own copper slab. The single most important artifact to our people. Just trying to figure out what to do with it now. At the current time, we have it set up over here in the chapel, just kind of in front of Mengfor's brass statue we had made a while back. A fine place for it, I think. Though we're keeping the thing covered for the time being, which seems a bit shameful. Yeah, we've experienced particularly confusing information too, over here, where we can see Wallace, the slab seeker. He's just milling about over here in this woodland. The guy is not in a good mental state these days, ever since he returned actually. In fact, he won't eat or drink. He's just melancholic, depressed. Doesn't want to talk to anybody or anything. It's not good to see, and unfortunately we don't have any way to shake him out of it. The pumpkins are trying their best, but it's to no avail whatsoever. Now, it's tough to speculate what exactly happened to this guy, but we know he went out. We know he got the slab. We know he saw King Pumpkin. It was all recorded in his journal. Everything just stopped when he read the slab. And then when he got back here, this state. Now, the guy is getting extremely weak, which is bound to happen. We don't really know what to do about it though. If he won't eat, if he won't drink, then our options are extremely limited. Oh no, there he goes. He just collapsed out behind the Bent Limb Inn, fell over and perished. He went to Mengfor. That poor guy. What do you do about that though? What do we do about any of this? Did this strange state come about because you read this slab? Did it say something on it that could have this sort of an effect on a pumpkin? It could very well, and that's why we're keeping it covered. Poor fella. Wallace did not deserve this fate, so we're going to be very certain he's remembered. We'll have to do something special for him. We'll put some thought into it. Yes, the whole event has us pumpkins fairly rattled right now. We've been able to reclaim the embraces of joy, but with it comes a darkness that we did not expect. Regardless, we should get straight to work trying to protect this thing a bit. Obviously, when news gets out that we're in possession of such an artifact, there's going to be many more eyes on little Waddlesquash here. As such, I believe we should start making some more stone blocks. We have to make our church more secure, in some fashion. Still not too sure how we're going to manage it, but we'll figure something out. In the meantime, I can't help but notice that we have more and more mysterious individuals just kind of milling about the place these days. Like down here by these houses in the brook here, we can see a group of 3 strangelings just kind of wandering around. They're not causing any trouble as of yet, but, well, I'm not too sure what they're doing, frankly. Looks like one of them just wandered into this person's house and is rooting around in their sitting room here. Okay, they ran back out. Yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on. We're going to be keeping an eye on them, though. Could it be that word of this artifact has already spread? Let's hope these strangelings aren't troublemakers. You mind your own business, you. Yes, we have a lot on our plates right now. Everything's very exciting, but we also have to keep track of the little things. Like up over here in the northeast, we have these 6 houses. They're just about finished with construction. The pumpkins are putting a few extra touches in place up on the upper floors. And then after that, we have to make furniture for them. That should be well underway soon. And another quick thing right here, something I just realized actually, it's over in our cemetery. I was trying to come up with a place to inter Wallace. I figured I'd just bury him over here. But pumpkin heads decompose incredibly quickly, unlike people of flesh and blood, bogies and strangelings and whatnot. So his body has already become part of the Autumn Kingdom. Although that being the case, we're still going to give him a grave. I think that'd be perfectly apt, don't you? And as for something special, we're going to have Rin, our blacksmith, make a statue for the guy. And we're going to make it out of brass too. We're going to put it right by his grave. Actually, I think it was just completed. Let's have a look at the thing. Oh, it's very straightforward actually. It's a brass statue of Wallace. And that's about it. Just Wallace. No interesting pose or accomplishing anything of note. Just our slab seeker as he was in life. Very solemn. And that'll do it right there for the most part. Got his statue in place here in the cemetery, and we're just working on that slab too. The slab seeker will be remembered. Rest well, Wallace. You've done us a great service. Hey now. Down over here we just spotted someone. It's a human. Notice they're carrying 2 bags and no weapons. Wouldn't put it past them to be a child snatcher, possibly working for the bogies. They entered a house. Okay, they just took a child. There's a child in one of his bags right now, and it looks like he's trying to leave. This is bad. just because I'm panicking, I'm going to temporarily put a bunch of people in this squad, and I'm going to send them all out. We don't want this child taken. Okay, here they go. There's a bunch of pumpkins and strangelings after him, but they can't quite seem to catch up with him. Really should have been doing some more combat training this whole time, I guess. This guy's extremely fast, but it looks like he's panicking. I'm not too sure what he's doing. He's going around the old badger tree right now and running down towards the bent limb. I'm not too sure if we can catch up to this guy, frankly. Also, man, looks like there's a bogey snatcher in town too. A couple pumpkins have got them cornered. Oh, they're running away though. Go get them, pumpkins. Let's do this. I'm seeing these pumpkins jump through the air after this bogey, who has climbed up on top of the covered bridge and is jumping down. Looks like he fell in some water, but he managed to scramble out and is continuing on his way to the north. Having a look back down in front of the pumpkin pen, it looks like that human's being ripped to shreds by pumpkins currently. Oh, that's excellent. Good. Yeah, there they go. He's gone. Good job, pumpkins. Better still, looks like that child got away. Excellent. Just got that bogey up here now. I'm sure he'll slip up before long. Take him out, guys. There we go. Wonderful. Nobody's taking Waddlesquash's children, that's for damn sure. Okay, this makes me really think we have to start building up a proper squad. Just having the one musketeer is not going to really cut it anymore, I don't think. Really, we should have been doing this for a while already. Just wish we could find some darn metal underground. That'd make things a lot easier. Well, I guess we should actually start trying to do some trading, huh? We've put it off for far too long. But yes, anyways, trying to get back to a sense of normalcy around here. Still have a lot to do, but stuff just keeps popping up on us. It's kind of annoying, but I'm sure it'll balance out before long. Right, pumpkins? Right. Anywho. Well, having a look at the date, it's currently the 17th of Sandstone, 415, mid-autumn of our 13th year. And our population, if we have a look, we haven't seen that in a while, is now 30 pumpkins. And strangelings, of course. Yes, we've had some new migrants pop in. It's kind of hard to keep track of everyone at this point. We have so many people milling about. But recently, a lot of the new people we've gotten, we've assigned as miners. Hans has been needing a lot of help down here. We need lots of stone. Because remember, we're trying to nicen up the church a bit. Plus now we want a way to produce more trade items. We need more metal from the traders. We should have that stuff flowing in. And so I'm thinking now we have to start building some factories. And maybe after we start producing enough trade goods, we can actually trade for food too. So, I mean, I know we're used to farming and producing our own food here, but might be nice to outsource that labor too, in a way. I'm sure it'll work out. Man, those mines are getting to be extensive though, aren't they? Yeah, we need lots of stone around here. And we've already gotten started putting some of that stone to use. Like if you look over here next to our farm, we've already constructed a small factory building. Now, this facility here is owned by Voli Aridine, our farmer, and he's going to be using it to employ a couple of our pumpkin heads in the production of cloth, something that we're quite capable of. We've produced a lot of cotton plants back in the day. Remember that? That was a long time ago. Well, we still have plenty of this stuff laying around, and we figured, what the heck? Why not turn it into cloth? We could trade that. Easy enough. And plus now we have some extra hands to do that with, too. Very handy. And then if you have a look over here at the brook, you can see our new mill. It's all made of stone. This one has 2 spinning water wheels in place, and we can use that to break down some plants into flour and trade that as well, or possibly cook it up. We'll see what happens. Gonna be kind of noisy in this area. All the water wheels and other activity. Waddlesquash is getting to be a little less peaceful every single day. Having a look over here to the east, you can see these 6 buildings that we've completed. We've already addressed these ones, but looking to the south of them, we're just now finishing up on the ground floor of 5 new structures. We have 4 houses kind of just like packed in down here, and then another multi-family house with 4 fairly small residences inside. It should make for good housing. Cramped, but it'll do fine. Gotta get some more pumpkins in, right? Oh, and that's right. Almost forgot, down underground here you could see our waterways. Remember, we linked up a bunch of houses recently. 9 of Waddlesquash's structures now have interior access to water. Quite a luxury, isn't it? I mean, sure, it gets a little smelly down here. Bound to happen, really. Also, I should note we have a wandering strangeling down here, milling about. Hopefully they're not throwing anything in the water. Already have enough problems with that. People throwing junk in the water. It's not easy to get out either, so we just kind of have to leave it if it does happen. Still though, this is better than most places have. To imagine starting off as such a simple farming community to this, well, it's just breathtaking sometimes, I'll tell you. But I suppose you have to wonder what our pumpkins think about this progression. You know, at the start of this venture, they were hoping to make just their own little quiet place away from the hustle and bustle of the city. But now it's looking like the city has caught up with them. We now have multiple mills in town, as well as a factory, a small factory, but you know there's more to come. We have the Bent Limb Inn, which draws in people from all across the Autumn Kingdom, as well as a little pumpkin library, which really isn't so little anymore. We have scholars popping in every single day, more since we found those slabs. Remember, we found 2 slabs, not just the one. Strangelings, humans, and of course the wet popping of specters all around our perimeter. Yes, that is still happening, but much less frequently these days now that I mention it. Interesting. Just having a look around at our citizens, it's clear that most of our pumpkins are doing pretty alright with this growth of Waddlesquash. But that being said, it's not like they have much free time anymore. Well, to be fair, they didn't have much free time back in the day either, but at least they knew they could take some time off if they needed to. Nowadays, though, it kinda just feels like we're struggling to keep up with it all. For example, we have Voli Aridine over here, who just opened up his new production facility. You'd think the guy would be on top of the world, but it's looking like his stress has returned. Not excellent. Hard to say what's got him down exactly, but I guess it's bound to happen when you're kept busy day and night. But we also have Jackie, our brewer, down here. She's not doing too well either. That stress is starting to get to her. She's been an extremely mellow pumpkin this entire time. It's actually a bit disturbing to see her getting so stressed out. But I guess like Voli, it's bound to happen when you're just that busy. We'll have to figure out a solution, won't we? Here's hoping that solution isn't anything like we've done with Scored down here, huh? That's right, we haven't talked about him in a little while, but Scored is still down here, still hanging in there, for the most part. He's carved out several chambers, you may remember, and he's got them all engraved and furnished, but it's not helping him out that much at all. At this point, I've lost complete track of how long he's been down here, but it's clear to see that he's not going to be getting better anytime soon, if ever. And I gotta say, too, that the pumpkins just feel bad for him at this point. He's a murderer. We can't lose sight of this. He killed somebody because he was having a bad day. But pumpkins don't like to punish people. They really, really don't. So I think we're going to actually set the guy loose. At this point, it just makes sense. When you get down to it, it's probably right that he stays underground for the rest of his existence, but it's just not something that we're willing to continue doing here at Waddlesquash. He has to go out into the Autumn Kingdom to fend for himself. If someone else wants to imprison him, that's totally fine. But we're no longer willing to do it. Plus, on the practical side of things, we have to get somebody to remember to bring food and drinks down to him. Mangfor forbid if we ever forgot. He'd starve in fairly short order. Not something we want weighing on our souls. And so, Scored, we wish you the best. Or at least the best that you deserve. Good luck out there, my friend. Well, at this point, we have things rolling straight along. Waddlesquash is beginning to grow out of control out of necessity. We have to protect ourselves, so we need lots of metal. And in order to get enough metal, we have to begin producing items to trade. So yeah, it's not like there's much we could do about that whole thing. Just gotta keep busy for now. It just stinks because I feel like we're starting to lose a part of ourselves. You know, as I was saying, we started off as a small farming community, but now things are just exploding out of control. Again, out of necessity. It's not like we can prevent this. Hopefully I don't have to remind you that we have the armies of R on the march all around us. It's surprising they haven't come to us yet. We have seen quite a few snatchers recently, as well as the wolves and other threats too. I can't wait to see if any more human adventurers come in and try to take these slabs. We need to be able to defend ourselves and provide for our people too, in terms of food and clothing and that sort of stuff. Just a bit of a shame though, isn't it? You just hate to see it happen. I guess it's bound to happen when you get down to it, but you work so hard to make something and then you finally do make it, and it just isn't what you expected. But not much we can do about it. Just gotta keep working away. But while the pumpkins work, I can't help but wonder about that slab. You know, the Embraces of Joy. The one with a long and illustrious history created by our very god that we now have set up in the temple, just covered with a sheet, so that nobody can see it. Seems a damn shame, doesn't it? Just thinking now, we're over here wondering what we should do with the thing, but I guess we haven't considered asking Mengfor herself what we should do. Kinda foolish, but yeah, only just occurred. We have our dice. Yeah, what the heck? Oh, festive Mengfor, the one who plays the songs of our very lives. Tell us, what should we do with the Embraces of Joy? Should we read it? Should we learn its secrets? You roll, divining the will of the velvety planter Mengfor. According to the practice of the beige denomination, the rock salt dodecahedral die comes up a hidden moon. A positive sign. A sign that, I believe, means we should go ahead with reading the slab. She wants us to read this slab. And so, I suppose that being the case, we should get to it. A cycle. The world continues on through life and death, as rushing water through stone and soil, as rain in nature's course. Mengfor's breath brought forth kingdoms, springtime life, summer's fire, the autumn harvest, and soon the cold of winter. death of all. But reader, heed the present day. Your life remains now. It is yours to live as recklessly or plainly as you please. All good must come to an end, but do not despair, for you stand now in the light. Fascinating. Strong words. I could see well now why Wallace couldn't handle himself after reading this. It's a lot to take in, the bald-faced reality of things. It is an excellent lesson, though. One I think we'll have to take on board as we move forward. Waddlesquash may not look how we imagined it would. The world may not look how we imagined it would. But for now anyways, we have to make do, and so I suppose we should learn how to embrace joy. Thank you, Mengfor, for all you've done. Well, pumpkins, we have a lot of work to do. And that's going to pretty much do it for Waddlesquash, for now, anyways, which I know comes as a little bit of a surprise to most people, including myself. I was really not planning on finishing it so abruptly, but I figured it had to come to an end eventually, and, well, why not here, right? That being said, I thought it might be nice to try to pick it up maybe next autumn, but maybe not go for quite as long as this time here. Make it a yearly thing. I don't know. We'll see how that pans out. All I know is that we're done for now, and I might pick it up later in the future. We'll see what happens. For now, though, I don't really want to talk about some behind-the-scenes things just yet. What I thought would be cool is trying out a couple other things here with this mod. I figured since we're putting it down for now, might as well try out some stuff we haven't done yet. Like, okay, as Wallace, the adventurer, the Pumpkinhead. I had him read this slab. This isn't something I had mentioned. I forgot to mention it last episode when I was talking about behind the scenes things, but it looks like pumpkin people can't become witches. That was a little surprising. I thought they could, so I was going to do all kinds of stuff with that, but they can't become witches, so yeah. That being said, you can go into adventure mode and just start as a witch. I guess a witch is like a race of people in the Autumn Kingdom. That being said, I kind of would like to see what it's like to start off as like a normal person and go and read that slab. I'm curious what it does. Now, I'm not too sure what kind of people can become witches. I thought it'd be cool to be a strangeling, but they might not be able to either, so let's just do a human for now. I'll do a human peasant. And I'm just gonna jump straight through all this stuff here. Here, I'll just skip ahead to when we actually start playing. Okay, and here we go. Our adventurer's name is Deloop, a human ranger. A not very strong human ranger, not very strong at all, but he seems like a real nasty piece of work, and someone who craves power, desperately. Looks like he woke up one morning and decided to go check out that slab that was reported to be found in some pumpkin hamlet nearby. So he's heading on over. It's not too far away from his home, and he's also bringing with him all of his pets. He has a bunch of snails and worms and slugs. Not too sure why. He seems like a bit of an outcast. Maybe they're the only things who could stand his presence. They're just covering his body pretty much, on his head, on his shoulders, just riding all over the guy. Also noticing he has tears in his eyes too. Not too sure why he'd be crying, but, well, he is. Still traveling now, and we are at Waddlesquash, just arrived at the area. Walking into town, and I'm seeing some strangelings already. But no danger whatsoever. He's just heading into the chapel. It's obviously a chapel. Got some pumpkins in here just milling about. And we see the slab sitting right here. Well, I guess it's not gonna matter much if we take a look at it, right? Now then, let's have a look. We're gonna read the slab. You read Veylan, the secrets of witchcraft. You have learned the power animate corpse. You have learned the power raise ghast, and you have transformed into a witch. Very interesting. Also noticing here all the stuff on the ground around me. Oh my goodness, having a look. It's all my my pet worms and slugs and stuff. They've fallen off me and are now crawling around on the ground. Very interesting. Yeah, I'm just kind of having a look here. They're just like spreading out, crawling around on the ground. I find it interesting that we actually transformed like that. Having a look here at this pumpkin that's right behind him. It's the pastor, Chur. I can imagine her being just like, oh no. But no matter. Doesn't look like she's gonna stop the guy, so he's just running straight out. And back into the wilderness. Okay, now that we have some powers, what can we do you think? Oh, checking my inventory. It looks like all of my clothing and everything I own has fallen off of me, except for my tears. But no matter. Let's see what we can do. Okay, well, if you have a look here at our natural abilities, we have a bunch of stuff here. Curse of Bad Luck, Curse of Cutting, Curse of Rotting, Curse of Holding, Rite of Torment, Curse of Pushing, Curse of Fire, and Spit, which we always have. And then for acquired powers, we have Animate Corpse and Raise Ghast. It must be that all witches can cast these cursed and fire things, and the slab gave us these two abilities right here. Very interesting. Well, anyways, let's get to casting. Well, there's gotta be a dead body around here in Waddlesquash somewhere, right? Where do you think the pumpkin cemetery is? Ah, yes, right up here. Big pile of bodies. He has a dead strangeling here on the ground. Let's cast Raise Ghast. Well, I'm having a look around. It doesn't look like I can cast it anywhere. Not too sure why. Gonna move over here, actually, where we have a muscular catling poet. I couldn't raise any of those bodies over there for some reason, so I'm gonna cast a Curse of Bad Luck. You point. The catling poet, Ost Millimer, feels terrible. Okay, I guess that's it. Let's try something else. Curse of Cutting. You gesture. The catling poet, Ost Millimer, is covered in tiny cuts. That's interesting. Curse of Rotting. You gesture. The catling poet, Ost Millimer, feels their flesh decay. Is this doing anything? I'm letting some time pass here just to see. Man, this human's a real monster, huh? Curse of Holding, how about? You gesture. The catling poet, Ost Millimer, is paralyzed. Fun note, I could have done this to multiple targets, apparently. That's pretty darn cool, isn't it? Let's see here. What else we got? Rite of Torment. That sounds like a bad one. You gesture. The catling poet, Ost Millimer, doubles over in pain. Oh, okay, that did something. The catling poet gives into pain and falls over. And having a look at their body, they don't appear to be in a great state right now. A lot of damaged body parts. Just letting some time pass here. Yeah, they got up for a second, but then they fell back over. Okay, let's get serious here. Let's try out this, Curse of Fire. Oh, okay. That there just cast a fireball out in a straight line. It passed over the catling, but I don't think it hurt them. Well, that's fair enough. I believe this catling has suffered enough of Deloop's wrath for now. Clearly not a very good guy. Well, I'm not too sure what else to do now, honestly. That was a neat little test, but I'm not too sure how much farther I could go with it, really. And so, that being the case, I suppose we should start talking about some behind-the-scenes things. Now, there's a couple things I want to mention. First and foremost, well, I kind of had this, pumpkin cannon bit that I don't think anybody noticed, where the pumpkins, because they were created by Meng-4, imagine themselves as being humans, for the most part. You know, I figure if they were created by a human way back in the day, a human that they seek to emulate, then maybe they picture themselves looking more human than they actually do. So that's why whenever we've seen a pumpkin kind of imagine what a pumpkin looks like, or we've seen in-universe illustrations of a pumpkin, they tend to have more human features than pumpkin features. A fun little bit right there. Something to entertain myself while drawing. Also another fun little bit that we're doing right now, actually, this adventurer, Deloop. I realized I kind of just finished up Waddlesquash and jumped into adventure mode just to try some things out. And right now we're just playing fast and loose, running around, causing some chaos, just because I want to see what a witch could do. But imagine what this looks like from a Waddlesquash perspective. We just had some random guy walk into town, grab this slab, read some secrets off it, and then start frying some catling over on the side. This sort of stuff is intensely interesting for me. You know, I really like getting into the minds of whoever I'm currently playing as in Dwarf Fortress. Like when we're playing in Waddlesquash, I get into it. I want to protect these pumpkins, and I want to try to do the best I can do for them, or at least do things that they would think are the best, you know? Role-playing the pumpkins. But now we're playing as this witch guy who's clearly a jerk, doesn't really care too much, he's kind of an outcast, extremely callous apparently, he's just, fried that catling, or attempted to anyways. And how far could he take it? He wants power. I went into his little mind and made it so that he craves power. So how far is he willing to go, do you think? I don't know. I just kind of thought it was interesting to think about, frankly. I like that sort of stuff. Leaving things off on a bit of a cliffhanger. Will this Deloop character continue on and do some other horrible things, or will Waddlesquash prevail and kick the guy out or something? It's incredibly hard to get a clean ending when you're playing Dwarf Fortress, you know? Not unless you go through and fabricate a bunch of stuff and say oh, this is the end, but Dwarf Fortress doesn't play that way. It's a lot more like real life, you know? Interesting things and epic stories can come out of it, but it's incredibly rare. It's much more common just for things to fizzle out or end extremely abruptly. And so for the most part, at the end of things, most of the entertainment for me comes from just the possibility of what could happen next. I like it. And yeah, just an attempt to wrap things up here. I had a lot of fun with this. It was fun drawing and playing as the pumpkins, and I think it'd be a good idea to try to pick it up again next year too, for a brief session. Not like this one here. Maybe we'll play it for a month or so. See what happens. Anyways, I gotta give a hand to Squammus again, the guy who made the mod here. Got all his information down below, go check him out. He does have a Patreon, and I'm sure he would greatly appreciate your help in bringing more life to Dwarf Fortress. I thank you in advance for checking out his stuff. And my bearded bastards, I really hope you enjoyed yourselves today here in Waddlesquash, and I certainly hope to see you next time. And until then,